What's poppin', fam? It's your boy Luke Christopher, and you watching Hot New Hip Hop on the come up. Love. What's poppin', y'all? It's Luke Christopher. I'm from the Valley, LA, and before rap, it was sports, man. It was kicking it. I was in high school. I was really young when I got into rap, so it was really just basketball, football, and like chill stuff. It was not like I had a career because I was so young. I got into rap at like 14. What's crazy is that in the beginning of like kind of like I guess you would say my musical journey, it was kind of like it wasn't because I wanted to be a rapper. It was more just because I loved just music and messing with it. And it was like, you know, I would turn like nursery rhymes with my cousin and my brother. We turn them into raps, and we do like garage band beats. And this was like at 13, so it was just a fun thing. And then by the time I got to like 15, I was like, I want this to be my life. And so I kind of just focused my whole mindset, my whole aura just on figuring out how to make it like, you know, exactly how I want it and really dope. And I was at like 15, and then it just kind of became my life. Like after school, 6 hours of making beats, 6 hours of writing raps. And I wasn't even doing homework, but it was like, you know, it was important to me that I was doing, you know, something that bettered my future. When I was 18, I got signed to Interscope with Jimmy Iovine through Ron Fair, and then like a week after he signed me, Ron actually left the company, got let go. So it was like we were sitting at the label with no head person, and it was kind of like, you know how labels are nowadays, it's like if you don't have a head person. So we were sitting there, we put out Tomorrow, we just did a bunch of grassroots stuff. Finally, when we were able to get out of the deal, Mark Pitts came and was like, yo, we want to do this. So we ended up signing to RCA like 3 months afterwards, and it was like, you know, finally we get the moment to put something out that was dope. So that's what's coming up next. Initially, we were supposed to drop the EP on August 28th, but we didn't end up dropping it because we ended up shifting it based on how we wanted to come out in the videos and stuff. So I wanted to give the fans something that they could like, you know, listen to and rock out to until then. So I dropped Upside Down, which was kind of like a song I wrote a while ago. That was kind of like an R&B joint I was doing, but then I wanted to throw some raps on it. And then by the time I got back in on it to give it to the fans, because they was gonna have like 2 weeks where they thought an album was gonna be dropped. So finally when they got it, I wanted to throw a switch up at the end. And then I gave it to them for free just so they can, you know, vibe out to it. My favorite collab so far is gotta be Common, because it was like a moment where like hip hop, like Common kind of defined my feel, my sound in hip hop for a moment. And that B album and like the way hip hop was happening with that time of Mos Def and Kanye was producing kind of that stuff, to me really like sunk me into it. So I gotta say, when Common was in the studio, it was insane, man. It was like, the dude is sitting right here, you know what I mean? And he was like listening to all my beats, he was like, yo, this is dope. So to have that was like just an insane experience. And to this day, he's still like, that's my dude. He's just, and he gives me advice. And so that was one of the craziest things that still has happened. When I'm making a record, it changes every time, man, because having the blessing of being able to produce and kind of write my own stuff kind of gives me the freedom to choose what kind of music I want to make. You know what I mean? A lot of cats, a lot of artists, a lot of rappers and singers, they'll walk into a studio with like a song made for them, and then they just kind of do like, you know, the raps that they do. We was talking about this last night. It's like a lot of artists are just rappers, or they're just singers. They're not really like musicians. So sometimes when I do songs, I start with the beat. Sometimes I'll start on the piano, sometimes I'll start with like 16 bars and then end up like writing a hook to it or whatever it is. And it kind of just happened like that because when I was first making music under my bunk bed, it was like, I didn't know anybody who sang. I didn't know anybody who made dope beats, so I kind of had to do that if I wanted my stuff to be dope. So it was kind of by necessity, and then by the time I got older, it ended up being a blessing because I was like good enough to do my own stuff. So the EP that's coming out September 11th, it's gonna be like a dual EP deal where you get like 6 songs from like what's gonna be the future of kind of my sound and my music, and you get 6 songs that people have loved that have been released but not released in the commercial market. So all of it's produced and written by me, which is cool, and it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be really dope. I think people are gonna really mess with it, man. It's called Yesterday and Tomorrow too. It's dual EPs. Tomorrow is like the future. Yesterday is the story.